Hi, Elaine here. Today I'll be sharing how to have complete control of multiple master pages in Affinity Publisher. This follows on from a question from a viewer of the channel who had a background for a planner but then wanted to put a page between that background and the planner rings. The rings need to be on top, and because of that they can't be part of the background planner artwork. If they are, you can't see the rings on all of the final pages. The solution to this is actually an extension of a technique that I demonstrated in a previous video all about watermarks, but that only considered a single master page though. This technique will work irrespective of how many master pages you have in your file and/or how many master pages you have applied to your content pages. This is the file that we'll be working with. It's a collection of pages that make up October in a planner. This is the cover page. All it is a shape with a pattern fill. Then we have pages 2 and 3, where all of the artwork was created in Affinity Publisher. That's important because strange things are going to happen when we apply a master page to it. Now then I have space for the weekly spreads. There's actually going to be 5 of them. But we'll take a little detour here and actually import those pages. The pages in question are a PDF of a data merge, so it's not a native Affinity Publisher file. Here is how you import those. Up to File, down to Place, then find the PDF, which is October 5 weeks, and click Open. That opens up an extra panel, which is the Place panel. And it loads in the PDF and all its pages to the mouse pointer. So if I click, it will now add that to this page. And then I can move that into place. Now, because we want to see the inside planner cover behind these pages, I'm actually going to change the size of them and make them a little bit smaller. So changing that from 420mm to 410 and then centering it on the spread. Making note at this point we have week 1 that starts on the 30th of September and carries on to the 6th of October. What I'm going to do with this, now it's the right size, is copy it, move to the next spread and paste. Obviously the problem we have here is that this is still the 30th of September to the 6th of October. But all of the pages that are in the PDF are still inside the PDF. We can navigate between them by going up to the context-sensitive toolbar, and where it says Spread, if I click the drop-down, we've got all 5 weeks within that file, and this one would be the 2nd week. Doing the same again on 8 and 9, but this time choosing page 3. Then for week 4, page 4, and finally, the last spread, paste it in and choose page 5. And the last page we have in the file is the back cover, which is just an image inside a picture frame with some text on top. So that's the file we're working with. We also have some master pages in here. The first one being the inside cover, which is just a background colour at the moment. But I also have 2 additional master pages. The second one of these is called White Pages. We're going to need that one to fix a problem in the file that as yet you're unaware of. Finally, the third master page I have has a set of rings on it. Quite tiny this time, but they're all there. Now the first step to making all of this work is applying the inside master page, which is the one at the top, the one with the solid colour on it, to all of the pages in the file. The easiest way to do that is to right-click on the master page itself and then select Apply Master to Pages. The drop-down at the top is pre-populated with the master that you clicked on. By default, it's going to apply to all pages. And you have an option at the bottom to replace existing content. Now, at the moment, it doesn't matter if we choose that or not, because there are no master pages applied. In the later part of this demonstration, that will be incredibly important. But all I'm going to do at the moment is click OK. And that will apply that master page to all the pages. So now if we go back and have a look at the pages, the first one is exactly as I would expect. It has put the solid colour background behind the artwork. Moving on to pages 2 and 3, you can see the problem we have now. Because that artwork was native artwork to Affinity Publisher, and I hadn't put a white shape behind it, when I apply a solid colour behind them, it looks like they're just floating in midair. So we're going to need some pages for this artwork to sit on. Carrying on to the spreads here, you can see that PDF had rounded corners. The source file had rounded corners, that's why. And we can see the inside cover behind it. All of those pages look identical. And finally, the cover page at the back just has that solid colour showing around the artwork. So really, at the moment, the major issue is pages 2 and 3. Now, we do have in our master pages white pages that we could apply. What I'm going to do with this is apply it just to pages 2 and 3. I'm doing that by right-clicking on pages 2 and 3 and choosing Apply Master. It's chosen inside cover, which isn't actually the one we want. We want to apply white pages. We want to select just the specified pages, which is 2 and 3. We do not want to replace the existing content. If we do, we'll lose the background. So taking the tick out of there and clicking OK, what we've done is we've now got the inside cover at the very back, but on top of that we've got white pages with nice rounded corners. So we've solved the first problem. The next thing to do is to think about the planner rings. And because we want to apply the planner rings to all of the pages, the easiest way to do it is to go up to the master pages and right-click on it and select Apply Master to Pages. This time it's selected the correct one, which is rings. It's selected all pages, which is correct. But again, we don't want to replace the existing content. We actually want this as well as the inside cover, and on pages 2 and 3 we want it as well as the inside cover and the white pages. So taking the tick out of Replace Existing and click OK. Let's take it from the top. Not too bad. You can see that it is actually there. So if I zoom in, we can see the rings are there, but unfortunately they are behind the artwork. So we need to fix that as well. Moving on to pages 2 and 3, looks like it works perfectly, but not quite. The problem on this page is if we zoom in to the cobweb in the lower left of the right-hand page, the cobweb is sitting over the top of the planner rings. We could do with it behind them. So close, but no prize for that one. The other pages, none of the weekly layout pages have the planner rings showing at all. They are there. If we look at what we've got in the layers panel, we have the inside cover at the back. Then we have the rings, but the artwork is on the top. They're in the correct place in terms of positioning on the page. They are not in the correct place in terms of the stacking order or the hierarchy of content on the page. Because by default, when you add a master page, it puts it behind all of your existing content, and that's why it's at the back. Moving down to the last page, we have exactly the same situation that we had on the cover page, which is if we zoom in, it's behind the artwork. So we need to fix all of those problems. Luckily, how we do that is the same fix for all of them, and that's important because while we have less than 20 pages, it could be that you've got 400 or 500 pages, and doing it manually, page by page, is not an option. So what we need to do is control where the planner rings appear in the stacking order of every page. And moving back to the cover page for this one, it doesn't matter which page you do this on. But you need to go across to your layers panel. You need to find the rings master page, right click on it and choose Edit Linked. That puts a green stripe at the top of your working area. That is there to remind you that anything you're about to do is going to apply to every instance of that layer. Now luckily that's what we want. So up to Layer, down to Arrange and then move to Front. Instantly, that has put that at the front, but before we start doing anything else, you need to click Finish on that. So let's zoom into that, and you can see that the rings are now sat on top of that artwork, which is exactly what we want. That's the cover page dealt with. Pages 2 and 3, the only problem on here, if you recall, was where the cobweb was. And the cobweb is now sitting behind the planner rings, which is exactly what we want on that page as well. So zoom out to there. Then moving on to our weekly spreads. But before I actually click on it, have a look at it. Have a look at the thumbnail. It's not looking good. Where we can see the rings on the thumbnail for pages 2 and 3, not seeing it for 4 and 5, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, 10 and 11, or 12 and 13 either. But going back to the first one of those spreads, if we double click, it is actually in the right place. It just sometimes takes the thumbnail a little bit of time to update. All of those pages are the same. That takes us to the back page, and zooming in again on the back page, you can see that it's put the rings on top of the artwork now. And that has actually fixed all of the problems. But a bit of a bonus. This method makes it easy to completely change the inside cover with no additional work. In this example, I've used a simple solid colour as the inside cover, but I do have a texture available though. So if we navigate to the master page that is acting as the inside cover, look across at the layers panel, we can see the solid background colour, but we can also see that there is an additional layer which is a leather texture. If I turn that on and turn off the background colour, and then we go back and look at our pages again, every single one of them has updated, as have our thumbnails. And there they all are. Just to reiterate what we've got here now, looking at the layers panel, we have our inside cover, which is now a leather texture at the very bottom of the stacking order. Next, we have the picture frame with the artwork on. Then I have the text for November here, and at the very top I've got the rings. So we've created a content sandwich between two master pages. And it wouldn't matter how much content was between those two master pages. As long as the inside cover is at the back or the bottom of the stacking order, and the rings are at the front or the top of the stacking order, everything will display correctly. And there you have it, a technique to give you complete control over the placement of master pages in the stacking order of content on your pages. Let's have a quick recap. We started off by examining the file and embedding a PDF. The file contained myriad content types, PDF, native artwork, images, and more. What we needed to do was control the application of master pages. The default position for a master page is behind your content. We needed more control of that. The file contained 3 master pages, the inside cover, which needed to be at the bottom of the layer stack, white pages, which needed to be above the inside cover, but only on 2 pages, and rings, which needed to be above all the other content. We controlled that via Edit Linked, which created a content sandwich. If you want new tutorials and tips and tricks on a regular basis, check out my free training at elainegiles.com/VIP. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss future tutorials. And if you have any requests for specific tutorials, be sure to contact me. I would love to hear from you. Thanks for watching and see you next time.